Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am your host for today's activities, bringing to you today Peggy Spear from the Amon Carter Museum of American Art. Peggy is going to show us pictures of farm life. Could be paintings, could be photographs. We just don't know yet. So, Peggy, why don't you take us out to the farm?
All right.
Off we go.
Thank you for that introduction, Martha. All right. So, it's one of those things. I assign these topics before I actually look in our collection. And sometimes there's a million images to choose from. And then sometimes it's one of those things where I should have researched before I picked the topic. This is one of those topics we actually had a ton of things on, a lot of photographs and works on paper, but almost nothing in terms of paintings, just a couple of ones that didn't even really speak to farm life. So we're gonna start with this little cute. I say cute because it's 3 by 5 inches. The size of a little
That's cool looking.
And it is entitled Woodlawn Grove, J.H. Morrison's Estate, Texas. So what do we see here?
Birds.
Birds.
Farmhouse.
The
A
plane.
farmhouse.
The sweet
White
little
picket
picket
fence.
fence.
I know that cute little picket fence.
Trees.
Looks like some horses.
Horses.
Do I see
It's
a little pond?
actually a deer, a fawn.
A deer, okay.
Mhm.
Ooh.
And I know that because I'm going to read to you what she writes on the back of the card. So it does look like a horse, but it's a deer.
Oh,
Do I see a pond or a lake or a stream?
Water over here. Are you able to, again, this is like if you were farm life or if your parents or grandparents had a farm, you might know. I did not know these. Do you know what these different buildings are?
Is
Mine
it a
would be a
chicken coop?
Say that again?
Chicken coop.
Chicken coop?
No.
One might
One
be
would
a
be
smokehouse.
One would be a barn. One might be a smoker house.
Smoker house is one of them right here.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah, there's-
kitchen.
The kitchen,
Okay.
yeah.
Kitchen.
Oh,
And this, she
The
calls-
outhouse.
No, it's not an
No,
outhouse.
calls it
It's
a birdhouse.
um
It's a
is
birdhouse.
the dairy. So I think
Yeah.
it might be like a version of a refrigerator.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to think. I've seen it before. On
Yeah,
my-
I thought it
my
was going to
uncle's.
be a chicken coop or like a bird situation. Nope, it's for the milk.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to read to you what she wrote on the back and then kind of follow along. You guys have pointed everything out, but I'm going to use her words. She was writing someone and she painted this on the front and then mailed it to a friend. It says on the back, our present residence. Window with slats across is our room. So if you look right here, that was her bedroom. The house in the rear is the smokehouse. Oh, with the door, excuse me, I had it flipped. So this is the smokehouse right here with the door. Whoop. In the foreground, you will see our little pet fawn
Uh-huh.
Cool.
and persons running about. So I guess those are, she had 4, I want to say 3 or 4 boys. She had a bunch of kids. The little house on the high post is the dairy. You will see the river and on the river banks, and on the left, you'll see a road that goes directly into the river. And there's where we take the ferry to cross to the opposite bank.
wow.
So
Is it a painting?
got everything they need right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question, please?
Please.
Oh, it's so
I'm
clear.
trying to figure out the perspective here of the dairy, because I know dairy barns are a lot larger than that. Does that mean it's farther back than it shows?
No, she even says it's in the foreground, so I think it is closer to us. It just might be a really, really small dairy.
Okay.
It's more of a holding area once they milk
Okay.
cows and separate the cream, to hold it there, and it's off the ground, just kind of airflow, keep it a little
Oh,
bit
okay.
cooler. Keep it a little bit cooler until they can actually take and use it.
Okay, good.
Cool.
You have to remember, it's kind of like eggs. Milk really doesn't spoil as much when it's fresh as it does when it's been cooled down.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
true.
like eggs don't spoil unless they're refrigerated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I lived in Rome with a family for 6 months, and they would leave their eggs and all their cheese and butter on the counter.
Yeah.
And as a 19-year-old, I was very disturbed by that. And then after living there, I was like, oh, everything's so fresh. None of it ever went bad, and it tasted so good. But initially, I was very put off by that.
You're
So
only put off of that because you're an American.
yeah, I know.
And we're told never, always refrigerate our eggs, never eat raw eggs, and that's really an American thing.
Very American.
Yeah.
There's a massive amount of detail in that.
It is. It's very,
Isn't it beautiful. It's
very
amazing
detailed.
the amount of detail. It looks so cute and cozy that I want to live in this particular little house.
It almost passes a photograph.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was this Sarah Ann Lily Hardinge was
2 by 3 inches.
she came down to Texas. She was from the Northeast, I believe. She came down to Texas to paint watercolors of different animals and birds and things like that. And then she ended up having one child after another and never got out of Texas. Made her a Texan. And so this part of I want to say this estate is actually still standing. She's lived in a couple of places where you can physically go to the estate, or parts of the estate are still standing. But this is down in Seguin, Texas, by San Antonio. And it's right on what we're seeing is the Guadalupe River. That's where the house was. And it's a plantation style farmhouse.
Relatives that live in Seguin.
Say that again, David.
I have relatives that live in Seguin. I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, you'll have to next time you're in that area, see if there's a way you can look up this particular estate, the Morrison estate. But so yeah, so she was a painter and a very good painter, and she even wrote on the back of this, like we all think this is just the cutest drawing or the cutest painting of the cutest little farmhouse. And on the back of that card, she wrote, "Excuse the paper, I have no better for sketching." So that's better than anything I could do.
So essentially, she made a postcard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So how big was it again, please?
3 inches by 5 inches. So this looks massive on your screen right now, but it would be like,
Yeah, just like a regular note card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, think of like almost like an index card. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's
I
beautiful.
So
know.
what's
Fine.
graphite paper?
Graphite paper, it's a little toothier to hold. I think it's a little toothier so it can hold the graphite, which would be softer.
Oh, okay.
It isn't specifically
Rough.
watercolor paper.
Yeah.
But she did a great job. And you can see right here, she has J.H. Morrison's estate in the left corner. And then on the right corner, it says Texas.
Yes, it
So
does.
essentially what she did is she did a pencil drawing and then colored in the pencil drawing with watercolor. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can even see some of the graphite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Along the edges and stuff.
Yeah. And, some of the
Beautiful.
trees have some detailing that she went in.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought, what a darling little farm life. And so you don't see any of the actual, you don't know if this is a working farm. We don't know. She's not calling attention to anything that's a barn. But if they're living in kind of this recluse part of on a river, you assume that there's some farm life happening somewhere.
Well, particularly in the age of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I thought this was a sweet farm painting. We're going to move now to another work on paper, but this is a print,
Hmm.
and it's entitled Preparing for Market. So there's a lot of things going on in here. Tell me what you see.
They're loading up a cart
Mhm.
Is that a
with
grouse?
like produce.
Produce. Yeah, you see all the produce here.
Yeah.
Chickens? It's almost
Yep,
like
chickens. This is a duck.
duck. Okay, there you
Turkey.
This-
It's a turkey, isn't it?
That's a turkey.
Turkey.
Yep.
Little
Getting
girl.
They're getting ready to harness the second horse to the cart.
Yep, right here.
go. Little girl coming out of the house.
Oh,
Mhm.
sweet. She almost looks like a doll.
Doesn't she? Very, yeah, like just cute little button. And you can see here, she's got a little toy horse that she's playing with.
There's a well house behind, or the well behind the horse.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And then there's someone chopping wood.
Yeah.
And then we've got a cow here and a barn. And you can see another ranch.
Yeah, that's a
here.
well. And then a silo next to the barn.
Silo.
Yeah.
Y'all said chickens, right?
Yep. Chickens. We got a puppy dog right here.
Big.
Oh, yeah.
Big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, big dog.
Doves on the roof.
Good eye. Yep. Doves on the roof. Doves on the roof. Whoop.
So where's this from? Peggy?
So this was done by any guesses. It's a very notable paper publisher, or works on paper publisher during the time, Courier and Ives.
Oh,
Career knives, okay.
And so this particular scene is
Yeah.
it was very in fashion, or very interesting to readers at the time, these scenes. It's of nowhere in particular, but everywhere at the same time.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So it was, no, it's not assigned to any particular state. It's just generic farm, which people were really interested at this time of rural life, because urban areas were growing bigger and bigger, and these small rural towns were getting smaller and smaller. So there was a little bit of nostalgia for that kind of life.
No.
And then also you guys pointed out, there seems to be an abundance. They had a very happy crop that time. Everything is overflowing, and there's a variety of all these different types of crops. Chickies, so you know that there's the next crop of chicken coming along, and you've got, it looks like another caged animal they'll be bringing to market. So it feels like a very fruitful, productive haul for this family, which the readers of this, which were throughout the entire country, particularly the East Coast, were really wanting this type of happy imagery, because we're gearing up for World War II, and Civil War, and things are not great in the country right now. So
Is this a painting or a photograph?
this is a hand-drawn lithograph.
Really?
So he draws it, and then they put it on a lithographic stone, and then someone goes back in, a staff painter would go back in and paint it.
Wow, because there's a massive amount of detail.
Yeah.
Yes. And so this particular artist was on the Courier and Ives. He was a staff artist for 8 years at Courier and Ives. And he was one of the few artists, he was so good, he was one of the few artists that you can see in the bottom right corner, there's a signature.
Oh, wow.
Courier and Ives artists were not allowed to sign their names, but he was so good, he was allowed to.
wow.
He was really good. He was really good, and he was really well known for his ability to draw horses. And so
He's so good, he gets to break the rules.
yep. I mean,
Yeah.
you're good enough. So people knew his artwork. People wanted his artwork, and these artworks you could buy for anywhere from $1.50 to $3 at the time. It was created to allow Americans to affordably pay for art to decorate their homes. So he, you know, if there were a few artists on staff that would sign it, so if you had this particular artist, you know, and his signature was on it, it was a nicer piece than others in some cases.
Yeah, if you didn't say that, I'd say it was a photograph because it's so
Yeah, the detail is impeccable.
precise and detailed. And
in fact, you can buy yourself a copy. I just saw that one was on market for $5,500 if you're interested
Wow.
in
well,
decorating
it's not
your
accurate.
home.
$5,000 is in.
Yeah, a little. I don't know. You know, I think this was something we've had this in our collection for a while. But courier knife prints you can always find on market through different auction houses or First Dibs or Cherish, different secondhand websites. So it always depends on the condition and the edition and all that kind of stuff. But this was just something that the U.S. Really was interested in at the time. These urban or these rural scenes of a happy farm, and there's a couple of different versions of this particular print, where sometimes there's a kid standing there, sometimes the kid's standing there and she doesn't have a toy. And I'm curious what you think. How would that change, if it changes, the perception of this picture? Okay, without a kid, what does that change how you view this image at all, or the messaging?
Yeah, it would make, it
Yes.
would take out the part of the family unit, so you wouldn't know if they had children or not.
Yeah,
And they could be laborers instead of a family.
Instead of a family, that's right.
yeah, that the inclusion of the child really does add another element to everything you're saying. And to me, almost that happy family unit. Look, they've got a little boy, they've got a little girl, they've got the dog. So they've got that, you know, the perfect family in a bountiful harvest. It plays into that perception of a happy and prosperous living.
You know, something I noticed that's different from like Kansas, where I grew up, the cellar is by the house.
Mhm.
Usually the root cellar is away from the house in Kansas and Oklahoma.
Oh, interesting.
It also serves as a tornado shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, Northeast, we don't have too many tornadoes, but we got
No.
those hurricanes.
I can just see
What an
Dorothy.
interesting point out, Myra. Yeah, that's something I would never, that to me just registered as that's how it is. But you're right. That is always detached in the
Mhm.
Midwest.
Yeah, it's detached in Central America.
Yeah, I
Central
remember
US.
my grandparents had a cellar that actually, it didn't have an outside door, it had an inside door.
Oh, interesting.
It's a root cellar.
Hmm.
And so they had a door, I can't remember where it was, but it was someplace where you could actually open it in the inside and go in.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Oh, and I must tell you as well, my grandmother had one. You would open up the floor in the kitchen.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
The kitchen floor had a door in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then
That's I remember now.
earthen steps going down to where the shelves were to keep the canned goods from
Oh,
what she
wow.
had done over the summer.
Would you guys play down there as kids, or were you not allowed down there?
I've been in it, but it wasn't a play thing. It
No.
was always cold and it was mud walls.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
I
was
was always-
chilly.
Kind of
Yes, I lived in
musty a little bit. Sometimes they had
Yeah.
roots. The root cellar, because actually there's sometimes were roots coming out of the walls,
Yep.
you know, and so, yeah.
Steve, thank you for bringing that memory back to me.
Oh, thank you. It just popped my brain, and you know.
Yeah, did many of you have family who had farms, or would you go visit friends who had a farm? I mean, I feel in this part of the world, farms are you have access to a farm a lot more than you would maybe on the Northeast.
Well, he's handing her the basket like, here, woman, go clean these vegetables.
Actually, I think she's
actually
handing it up
handing
to him.
him because they're
Yeah.
loading up.
Oh, she's handing it to him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're preparing for market, so she's the workhorse handing it all to him. She's getting her cardio and arm workout in that right now.
Mhm.
That's funny. When my father retired, he had a little patch in the backyard. It was a city house, but he had to grow his little vegetables. And my mother said one year, "You're not having vegetables next year. I'm tired of cleaning and freezing."
Yeah, do any of you have little vegetable gardens or little planters that you're growing at home? Any spices or
I usually do, but I have not this year. I've not.
not this year?
No.
Martha, what are you growing?
Basil.
Yeah, oh, that smells so good.
Yeah, we've got basil and thyme, spearmint.
Ooh, that grows like a weed, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, what else do we have?
Peppermint.
Peppermint
Ooh.
Ooh.
and
Perfect for your ice
curly
cream.
parsley.
Parsley. Yeah.
Parsley, that's a good one. Yeah, rosemary's really hard to grow in Texas if you put it in the ground. I learned that the hard way. Year after
That's a
year.
pot plant.
Yeah, this year we're growing tomatoes, which we have like 5 tomatoes on our sad plant right now, and we are like every morning we go out and like all of us are just checking on this like little bulb of a tomato. We're like, we did it, family! Huzzah! We would not last on a farm for more than 10 minutes.
You need to be careful with those tomatoes. The redder they get, the more the birds will take care of them for you.
Okay, this is all good stuff to know. I have no idea. So when do you pick them? Right now they're still really green. When do you know when to pull them?
When they're kind of between orange and yellow a little bit.
Okay.
Mhm.
See, takes a village. Thank you. All right, we have a couple more. Now we've got a photograph. Very different family farm vibes than the last one. Can you tell me what you see here?
The bag family.
Cotton pickers.
Cotton
pickers.
fields. Yep, cotton
Yeah.
field.
Cotton pickers in Comanche County, Oklahoma. So what do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? Do you feel anything? Does this feel very straightforward? Can you pick up on anything? What hits you first when you look at this?
Well, it looks like they have the whole family involved in it.
Yep,
It looks very work.
Hard work.
hard work.
Work,
Yeah.
yeah.
What makes you get that impression?
The face expression, like,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
little girl won't even look up.
Mhm.
That's true.
Her name is Dovey. She's 5 years old, and she could pick 15 pounds of cotton in her day.
Oh.
And her mom said about her, she just works for pleasure, but spells just JESS. So she must have had a twang when she spoke, because this was a quote. Just works for the pleasure. Erdl is another son. So there are 5 kids. This is a married couple. The father, the mother, and then their 5 children. And they lived on the farm, and they rented the farm, part of their farm. It was all sharecropping.
Yeah.
And their rent was 1/4 of their cotton pickings, and then they paid the rest in cash.
Mhm.
And so here there are the 5 kids. Debbie was the little girl. She's 5, and the rest are all boys. And we've got Erdl. He was 6, and he could pick 20 pounds of cotton in a day. We've got
wow.
Bonnie, who was 10, and he could pick 50 pounds of cotton in a day. And then there's Edward and Otis, and they were 11 and 12, and they could both pick 75 pounds of cotton in a day.
Wow.
And it would take their family about 4 days to pick a bale.
Woo!
Hmm.
My goodness. And that was always a prize, is to turn in the first bale of the year.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. My grandmother was in the paper once holding a little cotton bowl, and it was because she and her people had picked the first bale and taken it to be bound. The first
Sometimes
bale of the season.
Oh, how
Sometimes
cool.
that was the highest paying. They paid the highest amount because of the first bale, because it was the best.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of cotton farming in this part of the world. Has anyone cotton picked before or gone?
No.
You did, Martha. Is it work? I mean, I'm sure it's work, but is it hard work?
Yes. The
Yes.
bowls are pointy.
Yes.
Hi,
You go to
Steve.
get.
Bye.
there's
We'll see you
cotton in the
tomorrow.
middle.
Bye, Steve.
Bye.
Hi, Steve. When the bowl pops open and the cotton comes out,
Mm-hmm.
the bowl part is spiky.
Yeah. It's tried.
And when you grab in to get it, it'll get your fingers.
And these little hands don't have gloves on it.
Exactly. I picked a nickel's worth once, and that was all I wanted to do.
I've driven by plenty of cotton farms. I have no intention of ever trying to pick it.
My husband grew up in Lubbock, which from what I've been told, there's a lot of cotton farming out there. And so for our wedding, because we got married in Baltimore, I'm from Baltimore. For our wedding, he and all of his groommen wore cotton wool as their boutonniere on their lapel, as like a little nod to Lubbock.
Oh.
And I said, well, did you cotton pick as a kid? He goes, no, I was not cut out for that life. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to stoop over and get everything.
Yeah. Well, so we're seeing a bunch of sweet little biddies who are being put to work. And they would take time, they would pull their kids out of school to do this work. And so this picture, there are a bunch of pictures of this particular family, but they would be pulled out of school for anywhere from 2 to 4 or 6 weeks at a time to get that crop, because it was all hands on deck to get that money for their family. And these are pictures that were all used though, and we've looked at pictures from Hein before. His mission was to really make the government aware of how awful child labor is. And so this was another case of, the kids are pulled from school. This 5-year-old is doing this much work in a day, pounds and pounds of cotton. So the Library of Congress has all these different portfolios and images that were used for the National Child Labor Committee to put laws in place for the child protection. And so these are pictures that fought for those laws to be signed.
Cool.
Wow. In my grandmother's town, the children would start school July 15th, and they would go for 6 weeks. And then when we would start school in our regular towns, they would be taken out of school to do cotton picking and then sent back. So they would have a quarter and then cotton picking and then the other 3 quarters.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, we always thought it was weird that my cousins had to go to school in July, and they told us never to make fun of them because they were earning their keep.
Oh, how funny. Gosh, yeah. Well, now that's not the case, but I think school is changing. Some places are doing the 3 months on, 2 months off, or 6 weeks off. So, but not related to farm. But that makes sense that it would all been related to farm life.
Yes.
All right. Well, we've got one more photographer, a couple more pictures. And these are just this particular photographer. I could find almost nothing about him, just that we have a lot of pictures in our collection from him, and he has a lot of pictures in the the Missouri Historical Society documenting farm life in Missouri. So we've got a picture of cattle ranching here, of wheat collection, and we've got other ones of him doing killing swine, branding animals, collecting eggs, cutting corn. So there's a lot happening in Missouri when it comes to farm life. I'm sure Myra knows even in Kansas, one state over. All sorts of farming is happening in the state.
It looks like hay.
You can see there's a person here who's very, very faint.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But cattle farming, does anyone buy a cow at the start of a season and then that's their cow for their family?
My grandparents did.
They did?
They worked for Caterpillar in Decatur, Illinois, in the summertime, or in the spring, they'd have cattle that they breed all through the summer. Actually, it's the other way around. They buy the cattle in the fall, and they breed during the winter time.
Okay.
Then they'd round them all up. It's kind of funny. They didn't have any real farm equipment, so they line all their cars up to make sort of a gate or a fence in there to get into so they get in the trailer. Every year somebody's car got trashed because the cow jumped.
What a story. What a story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, who needs a new car next year? We're
right. Farmers don't get new cars. Farmers don't need new cars.
I'm seeing something in this picture I've never seen before, and that's a ladder up to the top of the barn.
Isn't that funny? I don't know. What would you be doing on there?
Well,
I can't imagine.
well, you know,
Yeah.
they've got the thing that they pull down and bring the bales of hail
The
up.
pulley, you've got to get up to the pulley to hook it on the top, and then the rope drops down to the ground and they can pull it up, and somebody's standing in the top of the barn and they pull it in.
Yeah, so that's probably something they don't use very often, but it's
Oh,
that
when
was
it's
the hay
for
mow.
transport of hay, Myra?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, I noticed that too. And I was thinking like, I bet kids had their heck of a good time climbing that when it was not being used for whatever it was being used for.
Yes. Yes.
No, because it was tin roof usually.
yeah.
Oh.
So now it's like fire if you have to crawl up there to do anything.
Ooh. Well
Yeah,
put,
we've got our
Myra.
cattle here, and then whoop, we've got our wheat collecting.
Hey,
here.
hey.
Has anyone been on a tractor or anything like that when it's been reaping?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How fun! Would you drive the tractor, Myra? Were you like
Yes.
managing?
I know. I rode a tractor with my grandfather, and it's kind of funny because his when we were plowing the fields, his plow was a little bit warped, so he'd have my brother and I stand on the back of the plow, which was basically blades of steel cutting through the dirt, but our weight helped keep the plow in the ground.
From bouncing
Oh,
or
my.
anything? Yeah.
Talk about child labor.
Child labor. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that like you don't think about it when you're doing it, and then later you're like, oh, that could
I
have
had
been
great fun. I thought it was
bad.
great fun.
Uh-huh.
Does that say deering?
Yes. I'm assuming that's a company, but I'm not familiar with that
Okay.
company.
What is deering?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can see he's already collected some, and with his, it looks like there are about 3 horses pulling the tractor. So those are what we got today with our farm life. This was a fun conversation. It sounds like everybody's had some fun memories of being on farms, whether it was their own or their friends or whatever. So next week we are doing, Martha, do you know?
High contrast.
High contrast, which is all black
Contrast.
and white.
High.
We've got a ton of black and white photography, works on paper, even some paintings in our collection. So we're going to look at some black and white artwork next week.
Would you like to give a plug to tomorrow?
Oh yeah, thank you. Tomorrow, Don and Myra and Martha have signed up, but we still have openings. And there's a couple other people who I don't know who have signed up. But we have, through the Amon Carter on our website, you can find our registration page. We are doing cats and dogs as at Artful Moments tomorrow. And it was supposed to be in a non-COVID world. We always have a dog event here at the Amon Carter where everyone brings their dogs, and we have stuff going on out in the front yard where, you know, your dogs can put their head in portraits of our collection and things like that. It's so silly, but it's really, and then we have a screening of a dog movie so you can picnic and bring your dogs. But we're not doing that this year because of dang COVID. So
Yeah.
that's why we're doing cats and dogs, but we'll still enjoy cats and dogs in our collection in a different way.
Thank you, Miss
We
Peggy.
will be there, Peggy.
Yay, well, I'll see you all tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, and then I will see you next Wednesday.
With high
Thank you,
contrast.
Peggy.
Thanks again, Miss Peggy.
All right, bye,
Have
y'all.
a great day.
Bye-bye.
Now let's take a look at tomorrow. Jukebox Days. It's going to be 1961.
All right.
And tomorrow we are joining with Scotland, and it will be 4:30 p.m. in Scotland when it's 10:30 a.m. here. I keep making the mistake of saying good morning, and they say, no, good afternoon.
And we just use our regular link, right?
Yes, our regular link. No,
Okay.
no big deal, our regular link. And I won't be here tomorrow, so you'll have Gail as your facilitator. And then Friday, we have Jonathan Sanson, piano and vocals.
Cool.
What a busy week.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Did the kids come back in yet? David?
Yeah, the kids are here. Yeah.
Oh, well, I was going to show him the bird, but he just flew away. Oop, here he comes again. Comes around.
Hey, Adley.
The kids wanted to see the bird.
Adley, come see the bird.
She's got a parrot named Woodstock.
He's here for the moment.
Joshua, come see the bird.
Janine and John, Don and Myra, you all have yourselves a great day.
Hey, are we not gonna do Wednesday stuff?
Oh, yeah, you can. Hey, Joshua, this is Woodstock.
Adley,
And
say
Joshua's little sister is who?
hi.
Oops,
Adley.
Adley. I'm sorry, he flew away again.
Oh, darn. We scared him away.
Bye, Birdie.
Bye, bye,
Next
birdie.
time.
Yeah, next time. Oh, there he is.
Oh,
Back, he's back. You called him. You came back.
Forth and back and forth. See the birdie on her back?
where is he? There he is.
Does that hurt when he does that?
No.
Okay.
I'm coming, Josh.
No. He lands flat and then grips in.
No, but he was kind of pecking.
The pecking doesn't hurt either. If he wanted to
Okay.
hurt me, he would hurt me.
Okay.
But he's
He wouldn't
doing
be
that. out
pecking, he'd
of
be
love.
biting.
Well, are you saying you have a really hard head?
Yes. Yes, I do. You all are
I
fun.
like you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Don, good luck tomorrow at the doctor.
Thank you.
And I personally will see you all on Friday.
Thank you very
Alrighty.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.